Hey guys, sorry you haven't seen a video from me in a couple of weeks. I got really sick. I had a tooth go bad and that got me sick. And then I had to get that tooth removed. And 2 days after I got the tooth removed, I got a stomach bug. During that stomach bug, I managed to dislodge the blood clot in the tooth removal and now I have a dry socket. So it's been a couple of weeks. But I am bringing you a kind of unorthodox video for me today. So I have a lot of unusual pets, I guess you could say. I have spiders. You can see Cinnamon in the back over here. She recently molted, and I actually have a new enclosure that I need to put her into because that is just not working for her at all anymore. She's way too big for it. And I got sent a PetSmart gift card for my birthday. So I went there with the intention of getting cat litter. I did get cat litter and some other things, and they were having a like 50% off sale on their terrariums and all this other stuff. And then I saw that they had jumping spiders for sale. And immediately I was concerned. One, for how they were being kept. And two, I was wondering if these were wild caught or captive bred. So I asked if um, they knew. And they actually told me who the vendor was. And this vendor is actually someone who provides jumping spiders to the other reptile shops in town and is a reputable vendor. Now, this is not the case for a lot of other PetSmarts. There have been reports of PetSmart having wild caught jumping spiders and people taking a jumping spider home and it being gravid and them ending up with hundreds of babies. That is a problem. There are some PetSmarts where they have good vendors and reputable breeders like mine. I actually knew this vendor because there was a reptile shop that I had worked for, and this vendor provided all of our jumping spiders and very reputable. So, I was like, okay. So I did end up getting one. I am not thrilled with how PetSmart is keeping the jumping spiders, however, but we will get into that. But while I was there, I saw this. This is normally not something I would get. It is obviously marketed for tarantulas. I would not put a tarantula in this, most likely. But this was on sale. Like sale. So we are going to unbox it because I think this will be a perfect home for the jumping spider. So let's unbox this and get a new home set up for beautiful little jumping spider. Right, let's get some scissors. Open this box up. I am not one of those purists that think you have to have like tarantula cribs or something to provide proper care to your invertebrates. I think that you can turn just about anything into proper enclosure with, you know, with some research and some time. And it looks like this might take some time. unless this all just kind of snaps. All right. I'm going to put this together and I'm going to put this together off camera. I don't know how long this is going to take me. I will let you know. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do it. So this was actually really easy to put together. It only took me about 10 minutes to put it together, and I am pleasantly surprised at the quality. I would actually put a tarantula in this. Now, I would not buy this at full price. Full price, they want like $45 for this. Um, which I think you can get a tarantula cribs for about that price. But for 20 bucks, absolutely. Absolutely. It's got the magnets are good off the top. Um, I won't be using the top because jumping spiders are arboreal, but it is nice to have that option. This is magnet 2, and the magnets are quite strong, which is nice. So, this is an 8 by 8 by 12, which is what I keep, you know, mature adult jumping spiders in, or at least when they're pretty close to being mature adults. Um, I'm not one to keep them in the itty bitty, teeny tiny enclosures. I think that it's cruel to keep a smart creature like a jumping spider in an enclosure like something that's like 4 inches by 4 inches by 6 inches. That is way too small for a mature adult regal jumping spider. That is way too small. I see far too many people selling these itty bitty teeny tiny enclosures for regal jumping spiders that don't have any substrate, don't have any kind of natural stuff whatsoever, and it just it's hard because it's these jumping spiders are so smart. They share very similar cognitive abilities with 1-year-old children, like human 1-year-old children. They recognize patterns, they can recognize numbers. Um, they are very intelligent creatures, and putting them in this teeny tiny, enclosure where they can't even properly jump to catch their food is animal cruelty. Point blank. Now we will move on to getting this enclosure set up. Um, I have some white dwarf isopods coming. I am going to add them in with Jorge. Jorge is my Asian forest scorpion. I haven't been sleeping much, dry socket. It's like almost 3 a.m. right now as I'm filming this. I'm tired. Uh, so I'm probably going to add them in here. I have some powder isopods right now that I'm going to add into Cinnamon's enclosure because I know she won't eat them. They're too small. But I'm not sure. I haven't really added isopods to jumping spider enclosures before, but I kind of want to. Want to see how it goes. I always add springtails to all enclosures that have substrate. It's just they're good for cleanup crew. I like to have them. Makes me feel good. I am going to probably fill up the majority of the bottom of this with substrate, but I will add the substrate last. Now, I like to make my own like supplies and hides and stuff. Now, I do have some. Let me grab her. Now, she's still little, which is why she's in this little Zilla 4 by 4 by 8. She's in here. Here. You see, I have 2 3D printed hides and like a bridge and ones that obviously. You know. Anyways, this is my jumping spider bag. In here, I have fake flowers. I have good old-fashioned hot glue gun and 100 hot glue sticks. I have mini pumpkins. I have a big pumpkin. And, yes, I like to take these little plastic things here, and I will take let's see, like a rose like this, right? I'll get hot glue and just kind of hot glue around the outside, and boom, there, you have a little jumping spider hide. You can take the leaves and you can do all kinds of different fun stuff. I also have like things for a little fairy garden. Like, it doesn't have to be 100% natural. You can add cute things, but I do like to add, like sphagnum moss, frog moss. I like to add cork bark. I like to add natural things to the enclosure. Like I have a moss vine, yeah, down here. I will probably add that I've been saving for a while. I was gonna save it for, well, I don't know, but I'll probably add it to this one because this is like perfect size and it's bendable. And this is real sphagnum moss. This isn't the fake stuff. This is the real stuff. So, um, it'll be safe to put in there. So, yeah, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. So I don't really know. I'm definitely. Why do I have. It should be in the skin bin. Where's. Where's the skin bin? This is one of Cinnamon's, one of hers. Yes, it should be in the skin. I have a mulch jar that we call the skin bin. Okay, so this is what it looks like now that I am done. I put a little hide up here. There's another one in here. I added substrate, some cork bark. I added leaf litter. I went ahead and added a bunch of the um, powder isopods, some springtails, frog moss, leaf litter, some rocks, added that little orange pumpkin, just some, fun stuff. There's plenty of stuff for her to hop around on, hide on, and do all kinds of fun spider stuff. So, now let me show you the spider. Put that down here. There she is. Now, I do not like how she has been kept in here. This little cup is really not great, obviously. So let's open this up and get her out. Oh, destroying her little web hammock. Sorry, honey. So she jumped right on to the side of this here. Hi, pretty girl. Hi, honey. So this is what I keep adult regal jumping spiders in. This has enough space for them to jump and hunt and do all jumping spider things in. She's exploring. I love her coloring. She has orange on her. See all these things for her to climb on there. All kinds of things for her to climb on and explore. All right, well, I will put this aside because this will make for a good catch cup. It looks like they are just using the cups that they use for the flightless fruit flies to keep the jumping spiders in. And they just put like this plastic thing and a cotton ball in there. No. But my PetSmart is using a reliable vendor for their jumping spiders. I am now going to have to solder holes into this. Yes, it's got sphagnum moss in it. I put this in here to make sure I had all the isopods out of it. For I need to figure out a name for the new jumping spider. But this is for cinnamon. Cinnamon. She's going in here. This white stuff is caulking. Caulking. I have to be very careful how I pronounce that. With the tongue tie and all. Gotta be careful. My speech impediment. I gotta put holes in this. I waterproofed it. And then I gotta put substrate in it. And then girl, you got a new home. You're gonna be able to burrow. Because you're bigger now, and now that you've molted, you need more than like 2 inches of substrate. She's molted and now she needs a good 4 inches. So I'm gonna give her 4 inches. That's what she said. I'm going to put 4 inches of substrate in here for her. I have not slept much. It's been a couple of hours in between making the enclosure and moving her into the enclosure. Because I finished the enclosure, and she was pretty skinny when I picked her up from PetSmart because they need to figure out their feeding schedule or something. So I threw in a little cricket in there because sometimes when you rehome or rehouse jumping spiders, they won't eat right away. It can be a little stressful, understandably. So I threw in a cricket in here and she hadn't touched it. And I was like, okay. So I go finish that and I go to grab this and I see that she just caught the cricket. And I was like, okay, well, we'll just let her chow down. And I fell asleep and then just woke up and was like, okay, well, now we can switch her over. I'm going to put her up by Jorge, I think. Because Cinnamon is going to go underneath Jorge. Jorge the scorpion. And I think I'll keep my jumping spiders up above. Maybe. Probably. I'm gonna have to do some organization. Because I don't. Because this side faces the outside, like outside of the house. This side faces my bathroom. And since I live in Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains, it gets really cold. And Jorge has a heater on his tank because he's a scorpion. And I don't want to have to put heaters on everybody's tank. I have some extra heaters if I need to. But if I keep everybody's tanks up against the wall that faces the outside during the winter, it's going to get too cold for them. So I'm moving Cinnamon to face the wall that's up against the bathroom so it doesn't get too cold. So I gotta move spiders across. Well, just one spider. I might even move my entire setup from this to over there. I'll probably do that. Then you can just see all my spoods and inverts. I kind of want to get a centipede. They kind of ick me out. They kind of give me the ick, but I kind of want one anyways. I have a really crappy centipede tattoo. My ankle. Don't look at my dogs. Just look at that. Just look at the crappy. Yeah. You can't see my dogs, but you could see the crappy centipede tattoo. I kind of want to. I kind of want a centipede. Just watch it eat. Maybe if I find a bark centipede in my basement. We get a lot in my basement this time of year. I'll put one in a little enclosure and feed it and see how it does. But I kind of want a Chinese redhead because that's what the tattoo is. Kind of want one of them. They'd be fun to feed. Yeah. I'm gonna go drink some coffee so I can function and do stuff. And then I need to get onto this. And I also need to rehouse my Trinidad olive tarantula into a new enclosure today or tomorrow. Tarantulas are a little bit different than jumping spiders. Um, with the exception of cinnamon, they don't really move a whole lot. Cinnamon is a little bit weird as far as tarantulas go. Most of my tarantulas, most tarantulas are a sit and wait, right? They just sit and they wait for their food. They don't really do a whole lot. They're fun to look at. Cinnamon, it's she. I think she thinks she's a dog. I think she thinks she's a dog. She will sit. She's on the side of her enclosure right now, expecting me to give her crickets. That's what she wants. She wants crickets. They say that tarantulas can't be trained. I don't believe them. Because any time, like, that she will notice that I'm out here for long periods of time, she will come out and she will sit there and be like, bitch. Bitch. You gonna give me a cricket? You gonna give me a cricket? No, you had 3 the other day. She would eat herself to death. She absolutely would. But that's, curly hair behavior. So, but, all right, I need to get some coffee in me and probably eat something soft and mushy because I have a dry socket and my mouth tastes like metal, which is a nasty side effect of a dry socket. Also gives you bad breath. It's just gross. Um, and I don't like that because I'm really anal about like my dental hygiene. So, bad breath it's a no-go for me. But, it is what it is. Yeah, I've been rambling on. I hope everyone has been having a good week, and if you see this video, I hope something good happens to you today. Stay tuned to watch how I turn this hot mess into a, you know, 5-star resort for Cinnamon, the tarantula dog. She's not a tarantula dog. She's a curly hair tarantula, but she acts like a dog. Yeah, I'll put that video out at some point this week. I'm gonna make the enclosure today, but I'm not gonna put the video out the same day that this video comes out. But yeah, have a good day. Like this video, subscribe.